Howdy guys, welcome to the homestead and welcome to my channel where I share my journey of creating self-sufficiency and freedom from my home in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. If you saw my last video, which I'll put a link to in the description, then you saw some really cool trail camera footage I got on my property of all the wildlife I've had back there, including some really monster trophy bucks. I had a lot of comments on that video about what camera I was using and how I got such great quality footage. Actually, the camera I've been using for the last 9 months or so is a Wild Game Innovations Terra Extreme 12. And I got those comments, had such great response. Also liked the camera myself that I picked another one up. They're only $38.88 at Walmart. Super cheap as far as trail cameras go. You can spend upwards of $200 on a really good one that'll send pictures right to your cell phone if that's something you want. But this camera, I think, is great for a starter camera. It's a 12 megapixel, which isn't super high quality when it comes to photos, but it shoots in 720p for video, which is what I use most of the time. Has a 60-foot range. Anything that walks within 60 foot of its laser trigger is going to have an image taken of it. Haven't actually tested that, but it's worked super good anytime that I've set it up. And it's a really great starter camera. There's not a lot to it. In the box, all we really have is the camera itself, which I find is really secure in this plastic packaging. So there we go. You got the camera and a little bag with the bungee straps that you can strap it to the tree, as well as your instructions. I want to mention the bungee straps because I really like them as a method for attaching your trail camera to the tree. I have some other cameras that attach with straps and different methods. I just really like the bungee. It's super simple. Stretch it around the tree, angle it where you want it. It's really easy. We got to open up the bottom here, and this is where all your controls are. Also your battery door and the slot for your SD card. Two things the camera doesn't come with that you're going to need to operate it are 8 AAA batteries and an SD card. It takes up to a 32 gig SD card. I found this pack, 8 batteries and the SD card, right there on the shelf next to where the camera was. So I just went with those because they were on sale. The box claims you can run this camera up to an entire year on 8 batteries. I have Duracell batteries in the one that I have out on the homestead forest right now. I've had it there 8 months, and the battery gauge says it's got a quarter battery life left. So it seems like it's going to work for a year. I was thinking with the cold temperatures we have here in Vermont, it might drain those batteries a little more. But I can give you an update on that later. The instruction book tells you how to run this thing if you need the instructions, but anybody that's ran any kind of electronic, it's fairly simple and straightforward. Just place the batteries in the way it's indicated.
So your SD card.
When we hit the power button, our display screen comes up and we can set our time, date, what we want for an image, which is a video or photo, and also there's a little ticker that will tell you how many photos it's taken and your battery life. So we're going to go set this thing up and give you a few tips on that.
Hey baby, it's cold outside. Let's throw another log on the fire. And maybe you'll know it's time to
Snow's pretty deep back here on the homestead forest. It's not really a lot of sign that I've seen this time of the winter, but we're gonna try to find a good place to put the camera. And I'll check my other trail cam that I have right up here.
How love should be. Take it off, nice and slow, like the music on the radio. I know
One thing I will highly recommend is getting a additional SD card. That way when you come out to check your camera, you can replace it and you'll always have constant footage of whatever's going on.
let's get it right.
And another thing that's really nice to have is a little case or holder that you can put your SD cards in. You can usually find them right in the store where you buy your cameras, the same area. Just always remember you're facing your prongs outward towards you on this model. And I ended up with this one video of the deer eating some leaves. Looks like I had the camera a little low on the tree. I'll have to make an adjustment. I've been wanting to monitor the wildlife on the south side of my property, entering from a neighboring piece for some time now, so I decided to head over that way and put the camera up in a spot where I knew there was some fairly decent traffic in the past.
You've been hurt before, but I'm not that kind. I know you're thinking I'm out of my mind. I know you're thinking that I'm out of my mind. Hey baby, 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 I'm out of my mind. I'm out of my mind.
Luckily enough, I did find a great place where there was a bunch of tracks from days past just intersecting through this whole area. And when you're looking for a good tree to set your camera on, I always try to find one that's, about 6 inches in diameter. Nothing too big, because those bungee straps aren't going to stretch too far around. And just kind of stand next to the tree you like, see what kind of view you got, if it's going to, where the laser's going to point, and if you think you're going to catch the movement of something coming through, depending on where they're traveling from. I also like to set my camera about 3 feet from the ground, if I can. I feel like when you're setting it that high, it gives you a good shot of deer. That's mostly what we're looking for. And also from the ground level up. Sometimes if you set it too high, you kind of set it at your field of vision, the camera might not see far enough to the ground. You may not get the small game that goes past. Or vice versa, if you set it too low, you'll only end up with pictures of legs and not the entire body of an animal. But sometimes you just got to set the camera up to get a few shots, see where it is, and move it around depending on the situation and the location you're at. That's where another tool that comes in handy is a card reader that you can take right out in the woods, see the image on the camera right on your phone or the little screen on a reader, whichever method you have. And then you can take images right there when you're on the spot, see exactly where your camera is pointing and what it's taking a picture of. I just always like to go through every setting, make sure the date, time, everything's set correct, it's on the mode that I like, and then I like to take a step back, look at the view from the camera, and have a set of trimmers or clippers with me so I can cut any straight branches or anything like that out of my way and just get a clearer image for the camera. Once I'm confident in my setup, I just leave the camera alone to do its job. Try to leave the area as undisturbed as possible. I like to let the camera sit out there up to a month at a time without checking it. Sometimes when it's my initial setup, I'll go back in a week or a week and a half just to make sure that I've got it aimed properly and all the things are in place. But generally, I like to just let it sit because sometimes it takes a little while before the wildlife move around. Well guys, thanks for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully it answered any questions anyone had about what trail cameras I'm using on my homestead forest. Maybe it inspires somebody to get their own trail camera and try to capture videos or pictures of wildlife themselves. Even if you're not looking to harvest a meal from the forest, it's really cool and fun just to see what's out there. If you guys did like the video, don't forget to give me the thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel because I'll be sharing a lot more videos in the future